Good morning, everybody. Here we go. Got the lights, camera, action. I'm not sure what action we'll see today. It looks like the markets are a little bit on the quiet side right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. Today's February 1st, 2022. And welcome to the Elite Trade live trading room. Please be aware of our disclosure documents that are out here. We are primarily education. We are not investment advisors. Okay. And if we just want to make sure that everybody, if you click your button on your machine, that is your trade. It is not our trade. There's Miss Cindy. How are you? All right. So let's go ahead and jump right in. As we start off today, a couple things that I want to kind of highlight for you. There's no immediate trade right at this moment, but we do have some economic reports coming out. Now, a lot of you see the things that I mark on the chart. Okay, Globex high, Globex low. Now, the Globex high and low is just the overnight or extended hour session until the regular session gets started, okay? But there's a lot of clues that I get from here. Now, price is trading inside the prior day's trading range and has not broken. We know that is an inside day, and inside days can be a little choppy and a little more difficult to trade, okay? But also noticing that the range, and this is also a good gauge, okay, taking the distance between the Globex high and low, okay. Now you might say, well, why do that? Well, you can see price change, you can see net change. That's about all you need to see when you're doing vertical, okay. But you can see that the range is more narrow this morning than other ranges, okay? And by having that in play, okay, periods of low volatility lead to periods of high volatility. I want to keep that always in mind. And a good example of that is, if we take a large time frame here, let me just turn off the moving averages for a moment. But if we start to add the Bollinger Bands, okay? Now, Bollinger Bands tend to work a lot better on the larger time frames, okay? And here we have just a standard Bollinger Bands. And the upper band, let's make a little darker color. And the lower band, actually switch that around. Let's make the lower band green and the upper band red. And the midline, we'll keep it as black, okay? At any rate, when we put these Bollinger Bands on the price chart, we want to keep in mind that 96.4% of the time price stays within the lines, okay? But we also notice that when the bands get tight, okay, that's a period of low volatility, then it moves to a period of high volatility, okay? So right now the bands are wide and getting wider, okay? But price is still within the bands. Now, price closes outside the bands and in an area like I have marked on the price chart, then we can anticipate a reversion back to the mean, which is a 20-period exponential moving average. See, the upper line is just two standard deviations away from that moving average, and the lower line is also two standard deviations away, okay? But it's all based on the candle's height, okay? And then when we go into periods of low volatility, those are often places where we see changes in trend, okay? Now, I don't use those as a tool to make trades, I just wanted to explain the point, okay? The overnight session is in a tighter, narrow range, okay? And that usually means it can lead to a more volatile trading environment, more volatile trading day. Yesterday also, when we marked the Globex high and we marked the Globex low, it was also in a tight overnight range, okay? And then once it broke out, it went into a nice channel, a nice run, okay? So when I'm looking at my charts and putting together a plan for today and where I form opinions about whether the market's moving up or the market's moving down, okay? A lot of it has to do with where we are in between the prior session's high and low, but also whether the Globex high and low is made a tight range, okay? So you're seeing a lot of information being delivered to you just by a glance at the chart. On dropping down to the smaller time frames, okay, we see price moved up, came back, found some buyers, found some buyers, found some buyers. Okay, so 3 touches there. On the top side, don't quite have the 3 touches, okay? We have that consolidation area, but I don't have the 3 touches. So, you know, a breakout to trade to the upside on the S&P is, for me right now, unless it builds and chops sideways a little bit more, okay, I don't have an entry to go long. I do have that entry to take a breakout going short as price may pull back into a demand zone in the context of this small time frame uptrend, okay? Let's see, Natalie, did you get in? Okay, can you also, I've got to travel today, but can you send Caitlin an email as well, kind of let her know what you didn't get that. And just FYI, everybody, let me bring that up. When you come into the elite trade and you go into your products or my courses, you can also come to the live trading room, and you should, oops, nope, it's not here, sorry. Should be able to get into it from the calendar. See, from the calendar right here, you should see join now. Okay, so every time you're logged in, you should be able to click join now and it'll take you right to the link, okay? Yeah, we're trying to make our website a lot more dependent. We're starting our phase 2, but that's we have a lot of classes and courses coming up throughout the month of February that we're going to be also working with. So for those that don't know it, we're doing the trading with the smart money course again, get it all fresh and set up, okay? That'll be at the end of the month, the 21st to the 25th, okay? All right, so the Nasdaq, let's bring up the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, we have Apple kind of flat in the morning, Microsoft up down 33 cents, Facebook's up, Amazon up, Google up, and Tesla up slightly, okay? So more of a bullish side to the market as we start looking at the overnight session, as I was just explaining earlier about the tight range. Now, the Nasdaq does have, on a smaller time frame, 3 distinct touches. Price came up once, twice, 3 times, and now approaching that breakout area. To the downside, yeah, it's a little sketchy right here, but price did bounce, 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 take it out, one more bounce. Okay, so I'll be willing to take the trade short also. okay? Leaning more to the bullish side of this. We come out and look at the big picture, okay, and start looking at what I mean by the bullish side, okay? Anticipating about 15,126, 15,176, okay? Yeah, so that's as far as the Nasdaq, I already have that trade set up to go long. One contract at the breakout. What I'm looking for now is making sure I have that leg base group of candles, or at least I have one of the types of zones that we look for. You've got a green candle closing inside the red candle's body. That is acceptable. You just have to turn the time frame down a little bit more to get the detail. So the breakout trade about 14,963 or 964. Your stop loss would be 920. So there's about a 40-point risk on that. Okay. As far as giving it enough wiggle room to move around. Okay. Now, I do want to take a moment and go back over to the left-hand side of the chart, right around this 15,000 area. And this is significant because this is going to kind of rock people's world here. Notice this big drop right here. Okay, and price breaks into that territory. There's nothing in the way until you get way back up towards closer to the top. Okay. So there's a huge amount of possibility, almost like 250 points, and we're already up 44 points. So that would be almost a 300-point move from the low of the session on the NQ. So on the bigger picture, we're also calling this whole area, that pocket of points up until we get to that resistance, about 15,296. Now, whether you stay in that or depending on the volatility of the open and what is happening with economic reports, it's a challenge to stay in these, okay? A lot of us, once we get our money on the table, we don't want to give it back, okay? And I'm one of those people too. So sometimes when we start getting into these big runs, if we don't know where price is going, we start taking our money off the table very quickly, okay? And then only to see that we don't have another way to get into it, okay? So once the trade triggers, I'll come back in and place a protective stop at 14,920 and let the market run, okay? Right now, the stocks that make up the Nasdaq 100, they're still slightly mixed, not really going down, not really going up. And we might expect that as after a big day yesterday, we're kind of going into a little sideways consolidation before pushing up to the next level. For the Dow on the big picture, Dow might be getting into the area, it needs to get above 35,128. And once it's above that 35,128, then we have 35,550, okay? And we have nothing really in the way to get up to that area, okay? And but we do have a little speed bump, if you want to call it, at 35,128. And of course, the Dow was the one that moved the least yesterday, okay? So it might be playing catch up. For the Dow also, I have a couple of levels that I'll be paying close attention to. Oh, and by the way, as you see, I have the Globex high and Globex low, but I also see the prior session's gap, okay, or where it closed yesterday and where it's trading right now, okay, that is the gap. If we're gapping up or down inside the range versus outside the range, that can also give us some clues as to what's going on in the marketplace, okay? We have a couple of little zones down below that are still valid, okay? But we have to remember where we are in this most recent move to the upside, okay? So a short trade around 34,900 and 34,831, break in that area. We would look for 34,616, and below that 34,459, and so on. Okay. So imagine, if you will, what this picture would look like if it completed. We have the right shoulder, we have the head, sorry, left shoulder, have the head, and now we're looking for potentially the right shoulder. So almost a head and shoulders pattern starting to form. So the breakouts to the downside are often what people are looking for. Okay. There you go. Wow. Making that night. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you got a happy face, and you can see that it's starting to form that head and shoulders there. There you go. So often traders will get in at the break of the neckline. If you get in early, you might be able to kind of avoid the breakdown and the whip back up. Okay. Remember, we got to give ourselves enough wiggle room. If we're going to take a breakout trade, we need that supply zone to form, or the demand zone to form prior to that breakout. Leg base group of candles. Okay. So for taking a trade on the Nasdaq Dow, we're looking at getting the breakup for 34,900. First initial breakout, and the second one about 34,831. Looking for the target on the other side of it. Okay. Now Dow break into the upside, we need a little more evidence to splice into that. Right now, it's just a visual, Mike. The question is, what point value on the Globex range on the S&P do you consider as tight? Okay. At this moment, it's just more of a visual. Okay. We had a couple of other ranges, like yesterday's range was tight, and we also had the range over here was tight as far as the overnight sessions. Okay. And when we have these tight overnight sessions, often the day becomes a little bit more volatile, a little more follow through with trends. When the overnight session is wide, okay, these are fairly the same distance, okay, they're not too far off, okay. But the prior one over here, where we had a huge range in price, as far as that Globex session, okay, notice our day session was pretty lame, okay. I mean, we had small ranges inside that day session, okay. We had one good move, okay. So when we're looking at this piece of information, okay, how do we use it? Now, as Mike is pointing out, do you use a percentage of the daily ATR? I don't particularly. I just kind of recognize it on the price chart. Now, I don't want to discount what you're saying, because I think it's absolutely a great idea. I just don't have a good formula for you. I know with Online Trading Academy, they look for 75 or 50%, 150% of the daily ATR, which would be kind of a Globex range stretched, as they call it. Okay. And then you're looking for the immediate trades off of that when price breaks the high or breaks the low, and they refer to that as a Globex trap. Okay. So right now I'm not looking for the Globex trap. I'm putting out an observation when the overnight sessions are more narrow versus wide. Okay. Well, how do you decide that? Well, we start taking measurements. What is a narrow range? Okay. And as I do this right now, we'll just kind of find out with these examples, okay, that this range we perceive to be wide, okay? We just see the price net change or percentage. So that was 104 points. In this overnight range, $41 points. $34 points. And we're about the same there, okay? So with this observation, could we say that the narrow range is between 34 and 41 points, okay? Whereas a wider range in the overnight session in this example was greater than that, okay? Now, could we equate that to a percentage of the daily ATR? Absolutely, okay? Could we equate that to some other odds enhancers or indicators and such? Yes, okay. All the above. See, what we're looking here is it's just information. It's just facts, okay? So what we recognize on the more narrow ranges is that we had much bigger profit margin potential and longer running trends. Okay. And with the wider range, we saw that most of the day was shorter in as far as the trade range and so on, okay, where you could have a trade, okay. Does this help a little bit, Mike? So it's not, we talk about the picture on the price chart, and sometimes just validating the actual measurement is one of those big odds enhancers that we have, okay. All right, so as far as the S&P, in order to take this trade going long, I just need to see price base sideways just a little bit more. Dropping down to a 5-minute chart, I've only got 2 touches into that supply and I need a third, okay? Without having the third, I'm not taking a breakout, okay? This is, and I also use that narrow range that I have to kind of pull back. I mean, you notice I'm teaching a little bit more, okay? It's not an inside day, but it feels like it, okay? So as we kind of monitor and put all these things together, okay? Let's take a quick look over at the cash market. I have 3 Dow stocks positive over 94 cents and 2 negative. That leaves 1 positive times 2. So the cash market right now equals positive 2, and the S&P futures are trading at positive 4. So in a statement, S&P futures are overbought by about 2.5 points right now. Also taking daily measurements of the volume over here. Is this volume light? Is it normal? Or is it excessively heavy for this time of day? And as we start collecting that information, we might see that there's a stock that's way up in price, but then there's very little shares traded on it. This is also another one of those observations of what we look for when in the pre-market to get a good feel of what's going on in the pre-market, okay? And speaking of pre-market, let's jump out and get some of the pre-market indicators, okay? We have the trend is right in the neutral area. It was a little higher this morning. But the QMI, okay, pre-market indicator is up 479 points. Now, we saw what happened yesterday when it was up around 400 points as well, what it did for the session. The Nasdaq pre-market indicator was developed by the Nasdaq exchange so that they could price the market ahead of time. They could price it out as the session opened, okay? So there's a lot of bullish potential right now with it gapping up as much as it did. And we saw how much it gapped up yesterday, and now what it's gapping up about the same. Could we expect some same follow through? Now, yesterday I did not get in on the Nasdaq because the Nasdaq wasn't set up. Okay, the S&P was set up, and so was the Dow, but not the Nasdaq. Well, today the Nasdaq is set up with its 3 touches. Okay. And it looks like we're starting to make headway in there. And based off of our tick chart here, looks like we're starting to show some strength in the main trend, mid trend, and such. One second. So along the same lines of, breakout trades using entry point software, okay, and seeing the areas where the where we had the 3 touches and then we had the breakout. Another 3 touches, breakout, nice little move to the upside. I'm going to tighten that up. We're looking for that setup bar just before the breakout move. And here we are again, where we have kind of a bigger picture. And what I'm waiting for now, just on a, not sure, it's supposed to be 1250. And there we go. So what I'm waiting for now is a setup bar, and then we'll look for price to break above. Yeah, right above there at 14,966. And there's also a smaller area, which may be a little volatile, about that 96 or 959, 960. Okay. Thanks for asking. We'll know more today, but doctor said prepare for the worst. So after class, I'm going to make a run up to Seattle and just check in on everybody. All those things we all have to deal with, Yeah, thanks for that. So right now, I currently have a trade set up about that, right around that breakout area. I might just adjust it just a tad bit lower for the morning open. Right there about that 1960. I had it about 63. But as I was building up this information, okay, and putting it kind of leading you into how I anticipate this market to play out, okay. For the Nasdaq, everything seems to be a little bit more on the bullish side. From our large picture, we're looking for 15,126, 15,176. Oh, markets are open. So our main area of resistance (126, 176) area. Let me do it this way. And you see that now I can be kind of relaxed. I know the only trade that I have is taking the Nasdaq to the upside or taking the breakouts to the downside. And we have a little bit of time now. Okay, so that'll be the target if we go to the upside, okay? And now I need another leg base group of candles to put in play, okay? S&P now finally giving us that little pullback off the top. Let's drop down smaller time frame. See if there's any place that we can take that breakout area. To the upside. Still needs to build. From what I'm looking at, I would make the assumption that's only about 2 touches and not 3 touches. Okay. All right. At least we're staying out of all this little chop, aren't we? Okay. Nasdaq trade is set up for the outside or the upside. And we may have an opportunity to take a breakdown. But we're still right in between that range, okay? Breakout going short, 14.84576, but you still need your leg base group of candles to form, okay? Don't shortcut that process, okay? Because when you do, it leaves a mark. Things are getting volatile, but we're going to be totally ready for it. Russell has a couple of places that we could look to take a short, 2014 and 2012. Okay, it's just a couple of points, but there's some smaller time frame information on here to help us with that. And again, just the Russell also only has 2 touches up here, not 3. Okay, so if I don't have 3 touches, I don't take the breakout. Not that it may not continue to go, but it's just rules and things that I've set as far as my trading plan. So as far as my trading plan now, I can take a breakout to the downside, but not take a breakout to the upside at this point in time. Okay. So with all this action going on with the Russell, let's check out what's gold do. What is gold doing? Gold is in that trend. Did anybody stay in this one? Wow, good job, everybody. Just a couple micros. Took the money. Yeah, I took the money too. Took it twice. Took that first little breakout, and then as it broke out again, I took a little bit more. Now, an observation, okay, is when I was starting to look at closely at this, and it's just an observation at this point, okay, is I noticed that there was this resistance level and then gold broke out. And then I looked over on the Bitcoin futures. I know that this resistance level and it has not broken out, okay? I also noticed this area here, another resistance, another resistance. So the patterns were very similar, gold and Bitcoin, okay? So what remains to be seen is I'm just kind of looking things over and making the observation, okay? And with the observation, we're starting to see, well, does gold lead and Bitcoin follow, or is it Bitcoin and gold? I've just noticed that there's certain price patterns around each one of these And I just wanted to kind of point that out. Maybe in your observation, you can see some of those things too. Right now, first entry on gold would be 1798, 1796. So taking a couple of micros, I'm going to place that order out there at 1798. 1798. And I'm going to look to go long. Push that up, 98.20. Okay. So I'm going to look to go long on that. And then I'm going to give it just a little wiggle room. Sometimes it just taps it and it runs. Other times it goes a little deeper into the zone. Okay. But there's been several times I've missed it because I didn't set the trade up ahead of time. All right, whipsaw day. All right, so we have Nasdaq. Okay, for the Nasdaq, we need a new leg-based group of candles to form. Okay. Taking a look over at the stocks, they're not really breaking down. They're a little mixed. Google's up. Amazon's up. Facebook's up. Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla are down. Okay. So as we're approaching the breakout area at 14,845, I'm still a little reluctant. Okay, because we're approaching that time, we're approaching that area at a time where we could get a quick little pop back to the upside. Okay. So be careful if you're taking that breakout trade to the downside. Okay. Just don't see the stocks are really not selling off. Okay. But price is not dropping into a demand zone either, unless you're using that overnight session there. Well, we do have something. Let's check this out right here. Okay, now technically we have the leg-based group of candles. But the evidence to the left-hand side of the chart, we don't have. Okay. And there's also another leg-based group of candles right here, but it's an overnight zone. So we'll mark both of these areas. And I didn't see price come into any of those. Yeah, it's just. It's stepping outside of our trade plan if we tried to capture a low, tried to catch a bounce. Okay. We do have this, the 837, 817, we can take a poke at. Okay, but it's an overnight zone. Okay, we just have to recognize if you take that, it's going to be a little more elevated risk. Be a nice little entry, especially if we took out the tops. So I'm a little reluctant on taking the breakout, but I'm not opposed to taking this trade going long. But I want to encourage everybody that it's a very elevated risk on this. Okay. So if it dips into 837, 817. Okay. And we're seeing that the stocks are all coming back into play. Actually, Amazon and Google, Facebook are still pretty strong. But Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft, looks like they just had a dip. They're not really selling off. So 3 up and 3 kind of down. Okay, so this is why we're getting all this little choppy action going on, okay? Oh, nice. Great call, Ed. Now, for those that don't have the Stock Traders Almanac, highly recommend that you have one, get one, because it can alert you and help you understand some of the market moves on kind of a more fundamental area, okay? All right, so are we gonna take this? What time is it? Yeah, we're right about the right time. And take it as it starts to turn, okay? We're 3 minutes away from the quarter hour. Okay, so we always want to watch that first quarter hour. We do have economic reports coming out on that quarter hour, okay? See, we have the PMI manufacturing coming out at 9:45. The media gets this information about 45 minutes before, so they already know what's going to happen, if it's going to be good numbers or bad numbers. So kind of buy the rumors, sell the news. Then we have ISM and construction spending and JOLTS at 10 o'clock, okay? So we could see things getting a little crazy right here, okay? Now, as prices dropping down into that area, it arrived at the demand zone early, okay? So when it does that, it often breaks through, okay? So I'll give it just another little moment or two. Stocks are not selling off, but we could drop into that lucky 14,777 area, okay? And I'm really tempted here now to put a trade at, since we got 3 more minutes to drop down into that area. Okay, so we've broken that. This is a wide range and price should go a little deeper into the zone based off of that. So let's find out where that 88.6% retracement is at. Which is about 14,742, and we got about 2 minutes. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to place an order out there at 742, and notice right here that this market is falling on light volume, not heavy volume. Okay, so the springboard back up is going to be phenomenal. Okay, I mean there's very little volume. This is a mini contract. Okay, so let's take that first tap of 77.5. Okay, like to see one more push into it. We've got another minute. And my stop loss will be down about that, just as a protective, about 713, 714. Yeah, that'll be like an oh crap stop limit. I can't give it that much risk. Come on, let's get that another little push right in there, and the PMI numbers come out. 1 minute. How are we doing on the S&P? Yeah, they haven't got to the breakout area. Now Dow is not. Russell did get a small breakout. Okay, let's see the reaction to this report. Stocks are starting to bounce. Here we go. Come on down. Yeah, the 88.6% retracement's right there at the 742 area. Okay. And we're also noticing that when we look at the dashboard here, Dow, the NQ has had the strongest pullback, while the Dow and the S&P have had lighter pullbacks. Okay. Yeah, it's just about being patient at this point. Always tough to follow the trade rules too. But we do have a potential on the Russell at 210. As it starts to come out of there, 206 being a protective stop loss. Come on, back down, back down. Dip, dip, dip.
Order filled.
Yeah, let's get that set down at 206. Okay, so we got onto the Russell. See what in the NQ starting to bounce. Stocks are starting to bounce. Down the S&P are kind of in limbo. Let's see. In the neutral zone. Okay, so that's probably why we're waiting so long. Advancing issues over declining issues are right in the middle of that trade range. All right, winner, winner. Come on, let's go. There we go. Watch your time. We have about 10 minutes till that 10 o'clock reversal. We have a lot more economic reports coming out. Come on, push it up. How many guys? Oh, nice job, Natalie. Stop loss for the Russell is 206. Nice move. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting a bounce on the Nasdaq. We just didn't have an entry. S&P, we're looking at that breakout. Nasdaq, we're looking at the breakout. Now, Dow is closer to the breakout. Okay. We take that Dow just above the Globex high. And I'm sorry, Dow above the Globex high or below the Globex low. Okay, I'm kind of getting to my feel good spot for the Russell. I mean, it's been quick little profit. Kind of starting to see everybody else is kind of getting into that mode too. It's like, wow, that was a nice bounce. Okay. So what we could do is, let's, for me, yeah, I'm in that feel good. I've got some other distractions and things that are going on. So I'm like really wanting to take that profit. Anybody else feel that way? Somebody's like, no, I'm gonna let it run. I get it. Yeah, let's grab what we can out of that. Okay. Yep. Stocks over here are still not showing a great deal of strength. Okay. And some of you can sit through those. I needed to put the money in my pocket, and those that did stay, you're doing pretty good. Okay. Anybody stay? Or just sold one? Nice, Steve. Nathan, you're being pretty quiet out there. Hi, Sheila. Yeah, we all tend to trade off of our profit and loss. And when you get to that excitement meter, and it's okay. Okay. It's okay to take the money. And sometimes it like, oh my gosh, it's just like, that trade was up to almost $1,000. And by the time I clicked on the button, I only got 400. Okay. But only, how long did it take us? Okay. Yeah, it's really acting like an inside day. And as we come out to the internals, we can see it. Things are shifting a little bit for the advancing issues over declining issues, at least showing a little more positive. But the tick has been right in the middle of the whole first part of this session. Okay. And so is the trend. So things kind of in a neutral area. Crude oil is still trying to hold that support area while negotiations are going on with Ukraine and Russia. And looks like price coming down for us on the gold, right? And the stocks have not found a way. It's like, keep going in circles, don't we? Check natural gas. Natural gas waiting for a pullback on natural gas. And a higher time frame, natural gas did break out. 480. And natural gas is right in that support and resistance area. So any pullback, we're going to look for that 5.224. Okay, or sorry, running up into supply, 5.224, or coming down to demand 4.090. Okay, it's got to either go one way or the other, and right now it's just in the middle of this channel, so the breakout trades are going to be more favored. Okay. Oh, Russell gave it all back. Woo. All right, so we're still waiting for Nasdaq. See, that zone was created during the regular trading hours. And let's just double check and see if it was on higher volume. Yeah, volume was increasing. the time the zone was created. So we'll look for the volume to, or we'll look for that zone still as an opportunity to take a trade long right around that. I'm just going to put a range right here. And we can tighten that up just a little bit, as we know the specific spot that we want to go long. Right about that 14,752, 14,731. All right, let's take a look at the cash value. S&P down 6 points. So we have 7 Dow stocks negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positive. So right now, S&P futures are oversold by about 6 points. IBM and Goldman Sachs are both going in the same direction now. Okay. Got a long way to go before Nasdaq gets that breakout. Dow's a little closer. Let's break this down, smaller time frame. Might be more of a shorter term trade. I'm still struggling to see the 3 touches in that area that I'm mapping out right now. And we still need a leg-based group of candles before we can participate in that. And it looks like we have it. Let's put the little blue dots on it to confirm. No. Certainly look close. If I were to guess at a range, I'd have to give this low area down here 34,949. I'd have to give that that pivotal area. If you're going to take the breakout at 35,100, you have about a 50-point stop loss on that breakout trade. Okay. So I'm going to set that up at this moment. Let's see, we're going to have, I'll do, oh, we got some micros. Okay, so breakout is going to be at, let's get that line right there. 35,106. Stop loss, 34,949. Target is my feel good button. But let's go and look for one, okay? Right above 35,106. Yeah, we really don't have anything in the way. $35,722. Okay. What did we get filled on? Oh, that 377 area. Come on, computer, don't freeze up on me. There we go. Yeah, we had that 377 area right there. I left that order out there. Anybody else get that 377? Summer did. Nice job, Summer. Yeah, but look at the stocks, they're dropping. Okay. Dang, turn that into a quick loser. Now it's coming right down to that other zone, 752.
Order filled.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the heat for a moment. Just got filled on gold. $96. Okay, got stop loss on gold. Anybody get into gold as well? It's like, I want to treat these profits like an inside day. This stuff is just driving me crazy. I've got so many things. Back and forth, back and forth. Beautiful entry on the gold trade though. Right back into that demand zone. Location was right. Let's see if this thing can grow some legs. Nasdaq still trying to make its way down to that 88.6% retracement. These stocks are still not showing a lot of strength to the upside. We have another shot right here, much smaller risk on that. Because it's deeper in the zone. Yeah, I like watching green more than I like watching red. I need the green number to be bigger than the red number. Nice job, Marco. Have some fun. And thanks for the wishes for my dad. All right, got in on the NQ. 88.6. Let's see if I can get back. I'll feel much better once I start seeing green on the screen again. Need some stocks to back it up. And we're right after the 10 o'clock reversal. So a nice drop into the 10 o'clock reversal. Let's see if we can grow some legs back to the upside. Russell looking now to go down to the other zone, 1987, 1980. Wow, NQ going deep in there. Yeah, we're not getting any help from the stocks yet. Need some help from the stocks. Holy smokes, I don't even have a stop on here. There we go, little relief. Come on, Amazon. All right, stocks are coming back in. I'm getting the feeling if I could just get back to break even, I'll feel much better. Getting a bounce. Russell didn't quite make it down to the zone yet. Come on, gold. Oil. Wow, that was a wrencher of a trade right there. You know, so many times I just bailed when it was extremely against me instead of giving it the time it needs for the 10 o'clock reversal. Still have a small loss on this at this point, you know, but that uncomfortability there. Nice job, Natalie. You're rocking it there. All right. So here comes your chance. If you got in at that 777 area, you're back to break even after going through that drama. It's probably the best place to step aside and wait for another more comfortable. See, this is one of the fights that you will have. It's like, oh, I went through all of that. Now I'm going to get out of break even. Well, yeah, because your head's not in the right place. Because if this thing starts going negative against you again, you're going to start doing the freak out. Okay. And you'll play that drama over and over again. See how the stock's really starting to show strength to the upside, or are they just making a small turn at this point? Okay. And see where I could have got out at break even. Now I'm just I'm having that that conversation in my head. Why should I, you know? So again, if you start falling into that drama, you start falling into that, giving all that head noise into yourself, then you really need to find a way to get out of that trade. I mean, and step aside and wait for a better, safer trade to get into. We need a good spike up on the stocks just to get us starting any movement. And Microsoft starting to tip a little bit lower. Here comes Tesla, and now we're back down about 400 bucks. Okay. You guys starting to see how some of that drama can really play a part in your trading. Okay. And see, just as soon as you click that button and took that loss, now it bounces back up. So now if I just get back to break even, I'll get out this time. No, you won't. You'll sit there and go through it over and over again. Come and look at CL this moment. Okay, as soon as my charts update. I'm going to punch out of this one at the my earliest convenience, because that was just too big of a swing for me. I'm out of that one. At least I pocketed 130 bucks when it really went far against me. I'll wait for another trade opportunity. Gold looking really nice. Okay. Nice little drop in there. Great entry. Stop loss is well managed. Beautiful little trade. Okay. And let's see, crude oil. Yeah, crude's coming up there. Let's drop down to a smaller time frame. We're still looking for crude. We're still not seeing that breakout till it gets above 88.57. Sorry. Woo, feels so much better getting out of that NQ. That was crazy, right? Well, Russell springboarded off of that area. Dow hanging out. Okay, looking to go long at 35,106. See if we have any way to get in on the NQ. Yeah, Ed, if you kind of have a mirror in front of you, if you have that the old shit look on your face when you see it, you know, you probably should get out of break even. Yeah, why are bonds dropping so much? I was looking pretty good on that this morning. Yeah, all the bonds are coming down. We still have a target for gold up there about 1831, 1836 area. Did you take your profits, George? Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Now Nasdaq is starting to show some legs on this. Let's see if it's going to go. Starting to see just a turn on the equities, but nothing really committed for a move back to the upside. Need some help from Google and Microsoft. The other ones have a little bit better turn. Once they start taking out some of these little resistance areas, things will look pretty good. Anybody stay through that whole wiggle? Keep an eye on that tick Q down below. Once it starts getting up into this area. Oh, Nathan, you got some strong conviction. Out happy with 200 bucks. Yeah, beat me. I had 130. Okay. Nice job, Nathan. All right. So once the tick Q gets up into that 800 to 1,000 area, that's where we'll kind of expect that price to intersect with and look for it to be maxing out as far as that move. Okay. We still have no commitment on the entry point software for a move to the upside yet. Everything is still changing. Okay. Let's see, we have Dow. Could we also document that when we have those narrow ranges, that we did have some pretty good volatility? Oh, nice job, Steve. That's a great tactic. Yeah, I do that occasionally too, do a little bit of that cost average. Yeah, nice big tails there. S&P still pushing, well, not one way or the other, it's still right in the middle of things. And we're also seeing that on the tick. And let's see what the cash value is at now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Dow stocks up, 9 down. That leaves with 2 negative times 2, which is 4. Cash equals -4. Futures are trading at -15. So they're about 11 points oversold relative to cash. Okay. All right, come on, gold. You're exactly right, Ed. You know, a lot of those price chasers. Yeah, we started off today, you know, talking about basically a tight, narrow range. And you notice I started off teaching more than jumping into a trade. Okay. Often my mentality goes into that phase where I go into a teaching mode because it's going to be very difficult to get into a trade. Okay. Session says 11 points oversold. How do we use this information? Well, when price is oversold and dropping into a demand zone or buy territory, then between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. around the quarter hour or near the quarter hour, we start stacking up several different odds enhancers that can play a part. Okay. Now, when cash and futures are equally balanced, it's really not a trade time. Okay. It's time to sit back and relax. Like this morning, and we saw the cash and futures were within, 4 to 6 point range. Okay. Now, when I start thinking things are oversold versus overbought, when you take a cash market versus the futures market, okay, we use that information just to give a comparison. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a trade at that point, okay? So when the futures are oversold relative to cash, cash is king. See, this, thanks, Clark. When we start looking at the stocks over here, okay, this is the cash market. Futures follow the cash. Cash always leads in the futures market, or the underlying commodity or product always leads in the market. Okay. Yeah. So when we're using that information to see whether things are balanced or whether futures are oversold or overbought relative to cash, okay, that can give us some additional odds enhancers to help us anticipate what our next move should be. If futures are oversold, then we're looking for a demand zone. If futures are overbought, we're looking for a supply zone for a trade opportunity. Okay. Now, there's a range. If futures are overbought or oversold about 4 points, 5 points, and I'm making reference to just the S&P at this moment. Like we mentioned that the S&P futures are 11 points oversold relative to the cash market. Okay. Well, is 11 that trigger point where I should really be looking for that opportunity? Okay. Now, if it's between about 4 points lower oversold, 4 points overbought, that's really kind of a neutral range. Okay. Once it gets above 4, 6, 8, 10 points overbought, or on the other side oversold, that becomes where we start looking for the opportunities. Okay. Good question. I like teaching that because, most people don't realize that futures follow something they never lead. So if these futures are following something, what are they following? Okay, well, they're following the cash market. Cash market moves up or down and the futures follow. Futures are a derivative instrument, okay, that derives their price from the underlying cash. So all the Dow 30 stocks are listed on the S&P 500. And of course, the Dow 30 is the total Dow, okay? Now, on the S&P, because the Dow and the S&P have a 1 to 10 relationship, 10-point move on the Dow is equal to 1-point move on the S&P, okay? So we take that same calculation and we have, let's see, right off the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negative, 8 positive. Net results is 1 negative. When we're comparing the YM, we would say instead of multiplying it by 2 points, we would multiply it by 20 points, okay? So right now, the Dow is cash equals negative 20. And the Dow futures are right there at about break even, okay? So there's really a non-event at this point. So we got about 8 minutes to the bottom of the hour. Wow. All right. Now let's get this. Might be able to find my way back into this. And I might have to drop to a small time frame, okay? There we go. So we're down on the 1-minute chart and we have this area here where price has met supply several times, okay? You're still going to have to give this a little extra wiggle room. And you only have about 7 minutes before price gets back up into an area as far as the quarter hour. Okay, so breaking above 14,849, your stop loss would have to be at 778. That's a pretty big one. That's only on a 1-minute chart. But we could take this as just a short-term momentum trade. And we're at 49.25. Okay. So we got about a 10-point move on there. Okay. So 49 to 59. Okay. So let's put another horizontal line on there. And I'm just going to look for that small pop right there. Okay. Using a breakout trade, break above, because we've hit that area 3 times. I'm just looking to make a small profit. Yeah, doesn't have the leg base on this time frame, does it? So you may have to change your time frame just a little bit.
Order filled.
And you can change it to seconds. No, now a minute. I'll show you how to do that. Come on. Do it. Well. Yeah, we got it again. And it's off and going. All right, so Ed, no leg base. Okay, so let's look in this area right here. And you have to decide whether you want to adjust beyond this this range, right? So format to symbol. And I'm going to change from minutes, I'm going to change to second, okay? And I'll start off with 55. Now, what else did I have in my favor to do that? What else would you think I was looking at to take that breakout trade? You see the stocks? Started getting a good move on Microsoft and we started getting a little pop. Okay. But not all of them are showing that strength like Microsoft and Tesla and Amazon. Facebook, Google, and Apple are now just kind of the laggards. Okay. So as soon as the data comes up here, okay, you can start dropping this down to a number of seconds just to get the right picture. Yeah, the active income, we need to do another class on that. I get together with Caitlin and find out when we can do a little active income demonstration for y'all. Be great if we could do it on a Thursday or a Friday, but it might have to be next week, not this week. And we've taken a moment for the data to come up. Okay, so we have another one of those scalp type trades happening over here on the S&P. And we have the 3 touches again on a small time frame. Okay. What remains to be seen is we need to get that leg base group of candles. So another one has to be created, or you're taking on elevated risk. What's the Dow doing? Dow's still chopping sideways. $35,070, and then you probably put at this moment, that's probably where you put your stop loss, 34,981. Okay, now we have another resistance area. Daryl, when you're using tick charts, okay. Oh boy, that's good. That's a great topic. I just don't know where to start you with, okay? When you're using tick charts, okay, it's really not about a comparison. It's about getting the same picture, okay? And then using that frequency to see does it fit your trading style, okay? See, when I started using tick charts versus volume-based charts, I kept trying to make it look like a time-based chart, okay? Where they're totally different products, okay? Not totally different product, totally different pictures, okay? See, time is just time, okay? Each candle takes, in this example, 55 seconds to complete, okay? But see, you may have many more ticks chart or tick candles in a tick chart than you do in a time-based chart. So it's not that we want to compare time and tick, because they're totally different animals, okay? We want to get the right picture so we can follow our rules. Wanted to say thanks for showing the Dow Chemical example, buying long out of the money call, did with Netflix and it dropped below. Nice job. Then a breakout trade here coming up at 14.6 or 863. And you're starting to see the stocks are ramping up. 863 half. Look for another 10 ticks on the breakout. So 63, we'd be looking for 73. Roughly. All right, gold still continuing to climb. Yeah, it looks like bonds are making a little bit of a comeback. Notice that, like I got a 30-minute chart on the gold, and then I've got a 500 share on the Bitcoin futures. And just noticing candle to candle, when the Bitcoin starts to bounce up, I look over and I see gold doing the same thing. So I'm just doing, it's an observation right now. Okay. Boy, Russell coming back strong. Looking for a breakout, 35,070 on the Dow. Or a breakout above 106. S&P still waiting for a breakout above that 4506. Now things are quieting down pretty quickly. And the stocks are not doing much of anything. Okay, so we might be stuck in this sideways range for a bit. The break above on gold, I don't see that there is a breakout. Maybe, I mean, I feel like I'm stretching this one here, but I've got only 2 touches. Okay, I'd like to have 3. Or 3 as part of my trading plan. How's that? Russell, you could expand that zone and take that trade as long as it's going above that range. And now you're starting to get like 3 distinct touches of that area. IBM and Goldman Sachs have now gone out of sync. And I've got to wrap up this session. How many guys made some money today? You guys do good? Get a little bit? All right, how much money did you guys make? There you go, George. David, thank you. All right, great job, everybody. All right, Doug, yeah, we just got to work on our stops there. If you guys need help at all, you can always reach out and contact Caitlin or myself, and we can. It's really important for us to make all of you successful traders. Okay. Hi, Anna. Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, I gotta head up to the airport now. So you guys have a wonderful trading day. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Caitlin will start off and then I will take over. And we'll hope for the best. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Bye now.